Hey, I'm Dave.
I'm Rowdy.
And welcome back to the Positive Empowerment Moment. Good to have you all here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
This is awesome, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
Me too. It reminds me a lot of Rowdy and I. We grew up together.
Yes, we did.
Right. I moved to the area we live in now. Mm-hmm. Want to be all
secretive.
Secretive.
Yeah, I got to be secretive about it.
The area in which we live right now. I moved here when I was 14.
Yeah. Wow.
And,
14.
14 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
So all of high school, Rowdy and I spent together. Yep. In the area we live, 9th grade is actually in middle school, and then 10th, 11th, 12th grade.
Yes. Yep.
All in high school, right?
Yeah. You moved 8th grade?
It was beginning of 9th grade.
Beginning of 9th grade. Yep.
So it's essentially freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So here's the thing.
There's a thing.
We had a lot of fun in high school.
We had a lot of fun in high school.
And
Not academically.
That's right. Exactly. Because academics are not fun.
Not fun at all. Not fun, yes. Right? Past tense.
Yeah, past tense. Now, that's the funny thing is, we never did anything like crazy.
No,
weird.
We weren't weird.
No drugs, no alcohol, that kind of stuff.
Right.
We stayed away from that stuff.
Sure.
But we also stayed away from class.
Yes, a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
That's right. Maybe go down and get a cool beverage. Maybe just drive around.
Yep. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we even spent time at the school, just not in class.
Right. Because you get lost. It was a big school. We get lost easy.
We got lost.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'd be back, locker and then the class. And
right.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where we're at.
Yeah. So we'd end up getting a beverage at the convenience store.
Yes.
Yep. Or we would just,
Right. But there's repercussions for that.
There are. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What were your repercussions?
So about the time that everybody else was graduating.
Yes.
I wasn't. We could just put it that way.
What was your GPA, Dave, in high school?
At the end of my senior year, or at the end of everyone else's senior year,
sure.
1.87.
Wow, I would have killed for a 1.87. I think mine was like 1.2.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's weird that the GPAs would match since we basically missed the same classes all the time.
Right.
Well, and also, I think whenever we graduated, there was only 110. It's not a huge high school. It wasn't a huge high school. There was only 110 in that graduating class.
Right.
I was like 100th.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I think the 10 were the people that dropped out.
Right. It's good to have goals.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's like, Dave, you went to school sometimes, so you're only going to be like 10 people that never came to school.
Right. So it's like a coin toss.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I did not like school.
Some people don't.
Some
people don't. School's not for them.
That's exactly right. Sitting in the classes was just super boring.
Yeah.
I felt like all the other stuff that I could do.
Okay.
And then when I got out of high school, it was the same kind of thing. Struggled in college, the first couple years of college. I was like, man, I just cannot. I'd register for a class, I'd start going, I'd pay the tuition, and then I would just stop going.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, here's some money.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for the good work.
Exactly.
Right.
And I thought, forget it, I can't do it. Okay. So I quit going to college. And then I got married.
Okay. Well, that'll turn life around.
That's exactly right. And it wasn't, I think a lot of times people would be like, well, your wife told you to go to school.
Right.
I think it was, for me, it was a little bit of freak out time.
Like what do you mean freak out time?
Well, it's like now you got someone to take care of, and you got kids that are probably coming.
Yeah, eventually.
And they always
they want stuff.
That's right.
Food, clothing.
And we talked in a previous video, like the interior of the door of my daughter's car fell
yes,
off. I mean, it takes money to fix stuff up, right?
Right.
So I started realizing, all right, I got to figure something out. But I didn't like school, and so I just kind of forced myself to go to school.
Okay.
I forced myself to like the classes. I really did. I remember taking an American government class, and I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Right? Not that American government is bad necessarily.
Right, in theory.
But history is not fun.
No.
In my mind.
Okay.
But I kind of forced myself to enjoy it.
Okay. Nice. I like history. I do. I like to learn about stuff like that, but I can't remember half the stuff I watch or read, but I like to read it.
And that, I don't know, that's part of the frustration is like it's like you want to be perfect, but you also at the same time it's hard to be perfect.
Okay.
And history is the same kind of thing, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So anyway, I thought about it. I thought right then and there, I'm like, I'm just gonna smile. It's that public self kind of thing we were talking about in a previous video.
Smile and wave.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to school.
I love history. That kind of a thing.
Right.
And when I do the homework, I would just tell myself, this is fascinating. This is just good stuff. Fantastic.
Right. Forced fascination.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like, and when maybe when you eat vegetables, the same thing. Broccoli is delicious. Right?
Nasty.
You don't like broccoli?
No. That's okay. I'd rather eat a pizza, though.
Yeah, pizza with broccoli.
A whole pizza.
That's right.
Okay.
Nice. So anyway, it got to a point where even though I never really could tell that I was like, I'm going to be a historian now.
Right.
It got to a point where I'm like, I actually kind of like this stuff. It's fascinating.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what happened was I started telling myself how awesome I thought it was. And then I think I started to believe it,
Wow.
which worked out really, really well. And what ended up happening is I enjoyed school. I finished out general education classes, which generally people don't like. And I even philosophy and other things that I thought would be like the stupidest classes ever, I really enjoyed.
Wow. Cool.
And it got to a point, I earned my bachelor's degree. And then a few years later, I earned a master's degree.
Wow. Nice.
And then earned a PhD. And then earned another master's degree.
Goodness.
And I'm right now taking classes and working on 2 additional bachelor's degrees.
Okay.
And I got my eye on 1 or 2 more master's degrees.
Excellent. That's great.
How does that happen, though?
You tell me. I don't know. That's great.
That's the hardest thing about it is it's like, wait, did I convince myself too much?
Huh.
Did I go too far? Can we go too far?
No. Maybe in some instances, but this, I don't think so.
So, I mean, to me, it's like, does this translate over into other stuff?
Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. So at one point, your past, you were a certain way, and now you're different than you were in your past. So how does that translate to you?
To me, because that's a great question. I try and analyze myself a lot. Maybe it's,
Right.
I don't know, good or bad, who knows? Mm-hmm. But I look at it and I thought, you know what? As I look back on my life, I didn't let the decisions of my past define my future. What I was before does not make me who I am now, or, well, to a certain extent, it makes us who we are now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make us who we can be.
I love that. I think that's great. And you can see that in a lot of different aspects of life. Like I'll see people that we used to know in high school, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, there's so and so, man. That guy was so funny, or that person was this certain way, and they're completely opposite than they were back then. And you're like, wow, what happened? And I think it's great because you're right. You do certain things. You make decisions in your past, whether that's years ago when you were in high school or that was last week. You make decisions in your past, but it doesn't. Those decisions don't have to define who you are today. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, we all we have control over it's our own decisions.
Right.
Right. Our present time.
Yes.
That's all we have control over is what's going to happen in the next 1 or 2 minutes.
Yep.
And a lot of that is we're in that situation because of the past, but we can't tell ourselves or convince ourselves, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck thinking this way.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Change is not possible.
Because we all fall into that. We fall into that rut where like, I'm in this job I don't like because of X, Y, and Z. Well, there's no really way to get out of it when in reality there is. You just have to find a way.
That's exactly it. Form a plan, do the steps, execute the plan.
I like that.
A really smart person told me that one time. Execute the plan.
Execute the plan.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. And you can see that probably with any situation in any aspect of life. You know, one that just pops into my mind is maybe a relationship ending.
Okay.
If somebody's going through a relationship and they're here and decisions were made and that relationship ends, somebody in that relationship may feel like, my gosh, there's nothing out there for me now. I'm driving this road alone, and there's really no way for me to go except for down this certain stigma that's out there. When in reality, all they have to do is, and I use that lightheartedly, all they have to do. So for some people, it's really tough, and for others, it may be an easy decision. But just to realize that you aren't in control of what happened behind you. That doesn't define who you are now, but the road ahead of you is so open that you have all these different turns that you can go and you can take, and that once you make that decision, like, you know what, I'm going to do this, and you go down that path, and that's the future. And then you just keep building upon that, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to learn from that mistake, and you're going to move on to something else, and you're going to keep making mistakes, and that's just going to keep growing, making you grow stronger and stronger.
I love that.
Yeah?
I really do.
Cool.
It just reminds me, we don't have to care about the past. We can learn from it.
Right.
Just like that movie, learn from it, right? Anyway, we have control over the present.
Yes.
And we can have hope for the future.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right. And let our present mentality with that hope for the future define how we live our lives in the present day.
I like that. If you think of it that way, for me personally, it takes a lot of weight off my shoulders. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do in the future? What am I going to do here? Oh my gosh, this happened in the past, and now I'm pigeonholed, or I've got this stigma and all this stuff. But in reality, all I have to do is worry about what's going on right now. And, plan.
Absolutely.
Plan for the future. Be like, you know what, this is where I want to be 10 years from now. And you start working towards that, but you may not end there. You may, through that time, you may be thinking, oh, this happened, so I'm going to go this way, and now I'm going to plan for this.
Absolutely.
And it's just going to make you a better person.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because you can't control the future either.
No.
You can do your best to prepare yourself for the future.
Yep.
But whatever happens a year from now, 10 years from now, I have absolutely no control over that because it has so many variables. Right? There's so many other people involved. I mean, good gracious. I mean, really bad stuff could happen.
Right. It could.
So all I have is control over the present and then that hope for the future. But I love how you talk about, if a new pathway opens up, you go that direction.
I love it. I think it's great.
Not meant to be pessimistic at all, right?
No,
well,
absolutely not.
For the future, so don't worry about the future. It's not that.
No, plan for it.
Absolutely.
Make goals.
Absolutely.
And strive for them. But just because you make a goal to, I don't know, if you make a goal to be a doctor and along that way you decide you take a class or you're doing something and it leads you off to the left or off to the right somewhere else and you still have another goal, you end up maybe in a completely different spot.
That's it.
And that's okay.
That is completely okay.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
It relieves a lot of stress.
Absolutely.
For me.
Cool. We'd love to know what you think.
Yes.
Because obviously we're not professionals. We're not diagnosing or treating anything. We're just Rowdy and Dave.
We're just talking.
That's right. But we would love to know what you think. We invite you to be on our social media.
Yes.
Positive Empower is the handle. Facebook.com/Positive Empower.
Yep.
Twitter, Positive Empower. Snapchat.
Everything's Positive Empower.
Positive
Reddit.
Empower. Absolutely. So we invite you to go to our channels. Let us know what you think. And we hope to see you on the next episode of Positive Empowerment Moment. I'm Dave.
And I'm Rowdy.
Thanks.
Thanks.